Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to tonight's public forum to select the next, play a role in selecting the next principal here at Tempe High for next year. In addition to everyone joining us in person, I'd also like to welcome everyone joining us on YouTube and watching at home. Our principal search process has been designed to maximize feedback from the community and allow everyone multiple opportunities to participate in the selection process. Surveys were sent to staff members, students, and families. The themes of those surveys were elevated to the interview committee so that members could consider the input as they listened to the candidates, ensuring that the feedback from the larger community continued to inform the selection process. Your voice is essential, and we appreciate your participation in this process, especially this evening. At the conclusion of tonight's event, please stop and use the QR code displayed on the posters behind you for attendees to take one final survey and provide their thoughts on the final two candidates. Submissions are anonymous, and survey results will be reviewed by the superintendent in advance of final interviews. So at this time, I'd like to welcome tonight's finalists. First, Ms. Lisa Ginn.
Hello.
And also Mr. Adam Johnson. And we're conducting this form in alphabetical order. So Ms. Ginn will begin, and Mr. Johnson will be led away while Ms. Ginn answers some questions for us. Excuse me, 1 minute.
There he goes. He's going.
Okay, so as an example of how we value everyone's input, this first question comes from a student. Our first question, please briefly introduce yourself and share why you want to be the principal of Tempe High over other schools.
Well, good evening. I'm Lisa Ginn. There we go. First test was, can you turn the mic on? So good evening, I'm Lisa Ginn. And I am an alumni from 1989, a long time ago, and I believe once a Buffalo, always a Buffalo. After high school here, I went to ASU to get my teaching degree, and then I came back to Tempe High, where I taught overall 12 years, included being the librarian, teaching science, teaching AVID, and I loved my time here as a teacher. It was some of the most rewarding years of my career so far. I love the students here and the staff. I love the mission that everybody can get on board with of growing together and really helping to serve our students and serve our community. So after I left Tempe High, I went to a charter school in Gilbert where I was a teacher for 1 year, and then I was the IB coordinator. After I was the IB coordinator, I was asked to be the principal, where I was the principal for 5 years. EduPrise was also an AVID school, so I was familiar with and trained in many of the programs that are here at Tempe High School. So not only being invested in the community, having grown up here, being an alumni, I also have experiences as a principal at that charter school that really helped prepare me for this job. After I left the charter school, EduPrise Charter School, I went to Apache Junction High School, where I currently am the principal, and I've been there 2 years, finishing up my second year, and I love the student body there as well. I do just love students. But it's also a diverse population, and it's one where we work hard to help the students be college and career ready. Sometimes that means removing barriers. Sometimes that means creating opportunities for the students that they don't have access to on their own. But I'm very passionate about serving students that need that extra assistance. And so I want to come back to Tempe High because it's my home. I grew up here right at Rural and Southern, and I spent the beginning years of my life first as a student and then as a young teacher. And then as an older teacher, it helped shape me into the person I am today. Those experiences all helped prepare me for my 2 jobs as a principal, the 7 years. But now I feel like those two jobs have helped prepare me now to come back home and lead the staff and lead the student body here into the future.
How will you establish a climate of mutual respect and collaboration between all staff?
Mutual respect and collaboration is going to begin with transparency. It's going to begin with me telling you things and then sticking to them, being open and honest and communicating frequently with you. I send a newsletter out to my staff weekly, every Sunday. It's called Gins Gazette, and I outline all of the activities for the upcoming week, as well as my expectations for teachers that week, be at the assembly, be after school today for students that need tutoring. And so that goes out every week in addition to other communication that's important. I don't want to fill your inboxes, but I want to communicate with you because I think that helps to build the mutual respect and trust between us. In addition, I have an open door policy where teachers can drop by, parents can drop by, and I'm here for them, and I'm here to listen and really help establish that respect. As I think that it takes a little bit of time, but as those relationships build, then we're going to be able to move forward and have that open communication.
In what ways will you be visible as the next principal of Tempe High? Please give examples.
I'm a big cheerleader for Tempe High, and I was when I was a teacher here. I'm cheerleader right now for Apache Junction as well. I will be out at events. There's a concert tonight. I would be popping in there. I would be at games, especially our big varsity games where teams need support, but also the freshman games where maybe they'll be surprised to see the principal show up. But I will be out at lunchtime interacting with students in hallways as much as I can get out of my office. I love that relationship building with students, and then that way later on if there's an issue that we know each other. I just went to prom with the students and they tried to get me out on the dance floor to dance with them, and so if I did, and after they stood there with their mouths open for a few minutes, they're like, oh, this is fun to dance with the principal. But I believe you have to establish those relationships, and so later when they need something, they know they can come to you. I have a young lady at school right now who found out she had an ill family member, and we have a social worker, we have academic counselors, people she can go to, but she chose to come in and see me because I see her every day at lunch duty. And so we know each other, and she felt comfortable that she just needed to come in and cry for a minute and ground herself, and then went back to class. And so by being visible, I want to be among the students. I want to be out with the staff. I really hope to be in classrooms to get to know you, your style, how I can support you. And then if I can provide you with coaching, I would love to do that as well. I have a lot of training in IB and AVID with a lot of instructional techniques that I would love to share with teachers if you guys would like them.
The next question comes from a Tempe High community member. How do you plan to support both academic excellence and student well-being? What specific steps will you take to create an inclusive and equitable school environment?
All right, academic excellence to start with. So by the time our students leave Tempe High, they should be college, career, or military ready. And not only that, they should be self-actualized, ready to know what they want for the rest of their life. So we have to keep our rigor high, but we also need to meet students where they're at. So that's sometimes we need extra interventions to help them out. But in order to have that academic excellence, we need to challenge our students so that they're ready when they leave high school. College and career readiness also means being exposed to options and opportunities. What does college look like today? What does getting a job as a manager at a retail establishment require? And are we preparing them with the communication that they need to go into that role? Could you read that again?
How do you plan to support both academic excellence and student well-being? What specific steps will you take to create an inclusive and equitable school environment?
So I talked a little bit about the academic excellence. So for student well-being, we need to have systems in place. I'm thinking you probably do already, but ways to know if a student is struggling. So whether that's a drop in grades, sudden sadness about them, absenteeism, say it's a student that never fights or is not aggressive and all of a sudden they pop out at you. those are signs for us as the teachers and as the adults that we need to intervene with that student and find out what's going on. So for that well-being, we want to have a network of people on campus as part of a safety team that can check on students that are struggling or hurting. And then once we've identified that student as having a need and some harmful thoughts or something, we need to check back in with them. We need to offer them supports for the next steps. It's not just triaging and addressing that mental health need right at that time. It's now how can we support them so they can be back on their feet and ready for the next step, so that they're also ready for college and career readiness when they leave high school. So how do we make that inclusive? That's the last part. Yes, so we've got to help remove barriers for students. Not every student has the access to college applications and doesn't even know where to look for them. Not every student knows how to write a resume. And so we have to remove barriers for our kiddos that they might not have or have access to at home. It could be a language barrier, so they need help finding these resources in another language. So it could be financial, safety. They might need food in order to really come here and learn. So in order to triage and help them with their mental health, we first need to start with their basic needs, removing barriers, kind of leveling the playing field. And we want our students at Tempe High to have the same options and opportunities as any of our sister schools. Sometimes that takes a little bit more work on the part of the adults, but one thing I love and I treasure about my years here at Tempe High School is I believe this is a staff of adults that want to remove those barriers. We want to go the extra mile for our students, and I love that about the staff because I think we have to do that to take our kids to the next steps. So we're gonna keep rigor high, have lots of opportunities, patch them up, help them with mental health issues, and then remove barriers wherever we can so that we can help them have an equal playing field to enter college, career, or military when they leave high school.
How would you approach student discipline in a way that maintains a safe, respectful learning environment while also being fair, restorative, and supportive of student growth?
Whew, the two-part questions.
Yes.
So student discipline, I believe, has to be fair and consistent. So you have a student handbook, it's got consequences laid out, and so teach your students what those consequences are. When they need to have a consequence applied, then you do so. But I also believe in alternative to suspension. So you have a student that keeps ditching. What I don't want to do now is send them into ISS or send them off campus for ditching because that's what they wanted to begin with. So we want to work to find an alternative, and that could be some community service hours after school, something like that. So alternatives to suspension, I think, are very important because our students miss enough school. We're trying to get them here and keep them here, and we don't want more learning loss. I want discipline to be a growth experience for the students. I don't want them to come to the office and just get sent home and that's it. And you did this and I'll go home for 3 days. We want to talk to them about what happened, what might have triggered you. Is something going on at home? Was someone bothering you at school that you had enough and then you all of a sudden hit someone? So we also want to get to know them so we can grow from those experiences and help them grow as a young adult so that the next time they feel triggered or they feel like they're going to lash out, we want to give them those coping mechanisms so that they can deal with that instead of lashing out, because they're going to be 18 very soon. When you lash out outside at 18, the consequences look very different than the safety of a high school. So one of our jobs, I believe, is to help kids understand that you can't act like that, you can't hit people, etc. when you're 18 and you're an adult. So we've got to figure out how we can help them with their mechanisms right now. So long answer to say that I think you got to be fair and consistent with students. And I do believe in alternatives to suspension to keep kids at school and in class, and then really helping them grow from whatever the experience was. And sometimes they're not going to be ready to talk. Sometimes they have to cool down, re-regulate, and then you can have the conversation about what happened. And so sometimes it's giving them the space to do that as well.
Along with many other schools in our state, Tempe High School is currently experiencing a decline in enrollment. How will you proactively engage the community to ensure Tempe High is a school of choice for families?
I love it. So the high school I'm at right now is also experiencing declining enrollment, so I am familiar with what that looks like. How we engage the community is we need to showcase our programs, and not only showcase them, we need to help the families understand why these programs are great. Why is AVID great? Because it offers strategies for college and career readiness that will, again, help students for their life after high school. It gives them that chance to explore colleges and careers now. And then the International Baccalaureate program. What is the benefit of taking an IB class? What is the benefit of an IB diploma? How can that benefit one of our students? And it's really marketing those programs as well as the showcase of other things that we have here, the arts, the sports, and the variety of classes that we offer. I mean, it's a very a long list of opportunities that the students have on here with the CTE and et cetera. So we've got to really market, and that does not just start from district putting out publications, and that's a big piece of it, but we are the best advertisement, and our students are the best advertisement. And so we need to make sure that we're sharing all of the great things and celebrating them out in the community. So one more piece that I believe will really help with declining enrollment is student involvement. And that's, I was just talking to a parent before the meeting about how important it is for the students to be involved today and have a club or a sport or a group that they are active with. It becomes another adult mentor to keep eyes on them, but it also gives them that peer group that's going to help anchor them into school and make them want to be here. If they don't want to come here and learn, but now they're going to want to be here for chess club because their friends are there, and they might even get to do that chess competition in a month. That's going to really keep them here and more invested. So we want to also market our great extracurricular activities and things that can anchor kids into high school.
Okay, and our final question, these last couple of minutes, is there anything else you'd like to share with the Buffalo community?
All right, well, as I said, I was raised in Tempe, right at Rural and Southern behind the library. I went from Carminati Elementary to McCamey and to Tempe High, so I am homegrown. I'm a product of this community, and there were times in my life as a child and also as a teenager where I needed things and I needed to be cared about as a young adult. My parents divorced, and sometimes when you have two working parents in separate homes, they're so busy doing other things that you'd have needs or maybe you don't quite feel seen. It was here at Tempe High School where I was seen by coaches that made a true impact on me. When I played sports, I was, believe it or not, part of the dance team here. That dance teacher really cared about me and made me want to come to school each day. And I have teachers that believed in me, and that is so significant. I believe if I had not come here and had these adults invest in me, I would not be who I am today. And part of my mission, whether I'm in the classroom or I'm a principal, is to give back to students so that they also know that they're cared about every time they come to school. I went to ASU and I came back here and I invested 12 years here because I do care about the community, and now I want to give back to it. Going and being trained in IB, I was an AVID district director. These experiences, I don't believe are coincidences. I believe they shaped me to come back and lead the high school. So I truly believe that each child needs an adult mentor, an advocate, and someone that cares about them. And sometimes that's the principal. And that's why I go back to work every day. It's a hard job sometimes to be a principal, but when I think about the kids and that I can see them, say hello to them and check on them, it makes a difference. And I want to come here and make a difference in my home school, in my community. And I want to give back to Tempe High School that raised me to be the young woman that I am. Young woman? Oh boy. All right. That raised me to be the lady I am today, okay? But I'm appreciative of those experiences, and it would, and I think I'm right for this job, and I'm ready.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Ginn. Round of applause. Thank you.
I'm ready. We're going to start the beat here. Let's go.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Just a few questions for the form to get to know you a little better. And as we mentioned before in this process, it's very inclusive. So this first one comes from a student. Please briefly introduce yourself and share why you want to be principal of Tempe High over other schools.
Okay, that's a great question. First of all, my name is Adam Johnson. I've been at Tempe High School for 3 years, but I first want to give recognition. My spouse is here tonight. Thank you for coming. My daughter, Marin, and her husband came tonight. So I appreciate their support. They're a huge support for me. And my wife's always been there to kick me down the road when I need a little kicking and to set me straight. So I've been in leadership for nearly 20 years of my education career, from a department leader to a PLC leader to assistant principal. I've worked on school improvement committees. And I think the most important question is why Tempe High School? I shared a little bit of this morning. This is a place every single day where I get to see students and teachers and the miracles that happen to get our students to walk across the stage for graduation. And that's a place where I want to work. There's a staff here that is poised to deliver exactly what our students need each and every single day, from our classified staff to our teachers to our support staff in the counseling department and the special ed department. There's so many supports that students have to be successful. I've seen kids who we thought would never make it to walk across the stage. There's not a better feeling than that, to see those students. And I've seen the teachers who work tirelessly to make sure that happens. That's a place where I want to be. That's a group of people with whom I want to work each and every single day. And I think that's the magic of Tempe High School. I've heard so many times when I came here that this is the destination spot of Tempe. I believe that. After being here for 3 years, I see it. I see our family support. I see our students gravitating towards our staff, whether it be teachers or classified staff. They're there always to support them.
How will you establish a climate of mutual respect and collaboration between all staff?
I think there's two main ways I think that we do that. The first one is through transparency. In my time here, I've been able to work with, especially with the master schedule, opening up communication with the teachers so they know, okay, how many kids are here? Where are we going? What classes am I teaching? Opening that up. Transparency in the directions that we're going. When we receive information, how long does it take for us to move that information forward? It's so important that we move quickly, that we're able to bring people on board because they understand, and that having that clarity and that transparency helps to buy commitment from the staff and the students. The other piece that is important for opening up the campus is to be communicative, right? To increase lines of communication. I feel like one of the things we really want to do for next year is to open up our lines of communication with the community to be able to provide concise and accurate information on a weekly basis of what's happening on our campus, so that we can make our campus a community hub where people in the community want to be every single night, if they can make it. I want to be able to open up communication and transparency with the staff. If you know me now, you know my door's always open. You know that my door's open for people to come and talk at any time, that it's important to be available for people. And that's the business that we're in, not just for students, but for our staff and for our family. Recently, had a parent come in who had some issues with their student with discipline. They came in after hours. They wanted to meet. I was available. I was here. I said, sure, come on in. Let's talk about it. And so we were able to come to a good resolution with the family about their student. And it's just good. Like, it's a good thing to do. So I'm a little nervous. I really care about this. I'll say this also. A mentor of mine once told me, never let them see you sweat. And I'm just going to say this, too late. Like, I'm sweating. So, but yeah, so opening up communication, opening up transparency. One of the things that I'm very passionate about is knowing the goals of the people that work here. To be able to support them in attaining what they want to see happen in their classroom with their extracurricular activities. Not only that, but to open up the communication with the families. One key thing that I think that we're missing right now that I want to move forward with immediately is to create a parent group, like a PTO or something like that. In my mind, I envision it as the Tempe Stampede, but to be able to bring in the ideas, but not only that, but to provide a place where our families can meet to discuss how they can be part of Tempe High School. And I think that's such a critical point to bring success to our community, is to open it up to the community as well.
In what ways will you be visible as the next principal of Tempe High? Please give examples.
You got it, Bill. All right, so I think visibility is key. Right now, I think our kids here, they know me. They see me at their games. They see me at their performances. They see me walking down the hallway. They're high-fiving me. They're wanting to be part of to know the adults here on campus. And so I've always been open with them. We had one student, she's outside and she goes, Mr. Johnson, every time I see you, you're like, hey, high five. She goes, I need a little bit more juice out of you. So what I do is I'm like, oh yeah, let's bring it. So she's super excited to do that. One of the things this week even, one of our students says, Mr. Johnson, I know you love chicken wings, but how come you've never come to my place? And she works at ATL Wings. I said, well, when's the next time you work? She goes, tonight. So I'm working in the van. I said, okay, when's your shift? She goes, from 4 to 8. She goes, okay, I'll be there. I said, I'm working, but if I'm off early, I'll be there. So at 7 o'clock, I roll into ATL Wings on Broadway and 40th Street. And I felt like a celebrity because she was like, oh my gosh, you're here. She goes, wait, step back outside. I want to see you come back in because I want to film you and I want to put it on my TikTok. So I said, okay. So I walk back in. She's like, oh my gosh, look who's here. He showed up. And the people sitting over here on the corner on the table, I'm gonna rip this cord out. They're like looking at me like, who's this guy? Is he famous? I'm like, I work at her school. I'm our assistant principal. They're like, oh, that's so cool. So she's like, come on, let's get a selfie. So we got a selfie. A couple of weeks at lunchtime, kids were dancing. I jumped in and started dancing with them. I did not know that they were filming for TikTok, but I'm out there. So if you look for principal and they spelled it wrong with an L-E instead of a pal, you know, like principal's your pal, not your pull. So I jumped in their TikTok and just had fun. You know, like working with kids want to know that you care about them, that you can connect with them at their level. I'm not above connecting with kids at their level. And if that means I got to be goofy, I can be goofy. Unfortunately, the special ed department, they know, I'm going to tattle up myself a little bit. When the boss is gone on a Friday afternoon, I roll into their department with my guitar and sing songs. And the song usually is, it's Friday afternoon and the boss is gone. But, you know, just to have fun and connect and be a person. And I think that's what we need. Our kids need authenticity more than anything. They need to know that me, you, community, teachers, families, that they mean something to them, that they're seen, most of all. And so how would I connect with kids? Can you give me I just want to make sure I'm hitting it.
Yep. And what In what ways will be visible as the next principal of Tempe High? Please give examples.
I think I hit it. Thank you.
All right.
Next question.
Next question comes from a community member. How do you plan to support both academic excellence and student well-being? And what specific steps will you take to create an inclusive and equitable school environment?
I think right now we are on track for academic excellence. We've experienced so much academic excellence already. When I got here, we averaged about 250 to 260 students who participated in honors classes. I think now we're near 400 students, and our enrollment's gone down. So we've opened up the gap, right? We've allowed all students to be able to participate in honors classes. We encourage it. We have teachers who teach these classes where students want to be in their classes because they're having fun. So another thing that I'm really proud of Tempe High School is we are not disproportionate in our grades for our subgroups. That all students that come here have access and opportunity to succeed at high levels, be it our EL students, our special ed students. This year we got bonus points for special ed, one of the only schools in the district that was able to do that. So we have amazing teachers that have made amazing things possible for our students to succeed at every single level, at every single subgroup. So what do? We stay that course. We continue to, so I created a vision that has several pillars, and one of those pillars is to strengthen our academic programs, especially our IB and our AVID programs. In a couple years in Tempe Union, we will be the only school that is offering AVID, and that's a strength that we have. Our AVID students, through the work of our AVID teachers, every single one of those kids leave Tempe High with a scholarship. That is nothing short of miraculous. Kids who first generation college goers. What an amazing thing to do. I can't say that I take credit for that, but we've provided opportunity for students to be able to have those courses. When we looked at the numbers, Mr. Thompson, our Title I AVID coordinator, he says, I told him, we said, we might only have 3 sections. He goes, I'll get the numbers. I said, if you get the numbers, you'll have another section. He did it. So I want to be able to provide for the vision and the dreams that our teachers have in order to continue the great success that our students have experienced academically.
How would you approach student discipline in a way that maintains a safe, respectful learning environment while also being fair, restorative, and supportive of student growth?
Okay. As far as I know, every student and adult that comes to our campus is a human being. Not a single one of us is free of mistakes or error or errors in judgment at one time or another, myself included. So how do we deal with students who make mistakes? Campuses and high schools are about learning. It's not about learned, it's about learning, right? So we have to be able to provide opportunities for our students to grow from their mistakes as well. So restorative practices are key to that because it helps students understand that they are not a pariah when they return from a suspension, that they're welcome on our campus. They made a mistake. We still love them. We still got to care for them. We still have to be there for them and support them in academics, psychologically, social, emotionally, in every possible way. But at the same time, you know, we have rules for a reason. We have to maintain some order on campus. So when students break the rules, we have a set of consequences. But we want to make sure that due process is done correctly. We listen to the students. We hear their side of the story. We give them an opportunity to appeal. So restorative practices are so important for just continuing the ongoing psychological development of our students.
Along with many other schools in our state, Tempe High is currently experiencing a decline in enrollment. How will you proactively engage the community to ensure Tempe High School is a place of choice for families?
Okay, well, 3 years ago, when I came to this campus, my first year, our letter grade arrived, it was a C. I said to Dr. Wilson, and maybe she remembers this, I said, that's it, the gloves are coming off. And I didn't mean that in like a violent way, but like in a way in which We are going to be an A school. Today we see ourselves as an A school. We want to continue that. We're working currently right now as a staff. We collected all staff feedback, including classified and certified staff, for the A+ recognition. That is part of what we want to do to stay relevant within our community and our surrounding area. Not only that, I have a vision that Tempe High becomes the hub for community engagement, right? That we're able to open up our site and our school for our feeder schools to participate. Some of the ideas I had were like a night under the stars or a night under the lights for some of maybe our middle school athletes to come and perform here on our campus. Get them engaged at an earlier age so that when they interact with our students, when they interact with our staff, that they leave here, or our interaction in their school, that they leave whenever they have an interaction with a Tempe Buffalo, that they say, I want to be a Buffalo, right? So one of the things I thought about was using some of our programs like our IB students and our AVID students to build like a Buffalo Buddies program where they're doing mentorship from the 6th grade through the 8th grade levels with our students at different schools. I think one of the things we look at is we look at charter schools sometimes as the enemy, but we have K-8 charter schools in our area that are, their kids leave and want choice. Our choice, their choice should be Tempe High School. So what are we doing to engage those schools within our own boundaries, within our school district, to make those kids say, I want to be a Buffalo? So we can do strategic partnerships with them as well. I think that one of the things that we could do is, outside of these student ambassador programs and increasing some of our activities, is we need to bring back or bring opportunities for students in all areas of activities and athletics. So activities, athletics, and arts. We've done so many improvements already to our facilities. We're going to continue to improve those facilities so that students, when they come here, they want to be here.
And our final question, a couple minutes, if you'd like to share anything else with our Buffalo community.
I want to say this. I've never come to a place where the students have meant more to me than at Tempe High School. I was at the volleyball game, and watching the kids in their senior night brought tears to my eyes. Just see the coaches, how they were interacting with the students, the joy that they had. Our kids need opportunity. And I think as a principal, with the team that we have assembled here, we can create more opportunity for our kids. We can increase the recognition that Tempe High School, its students, its faculty, its staff gets from the broader community. That when people drive past our school, they don't think of the old, like, oh, Tempe High, this. They think, that is my school, I'm proud of it. I want nothing more than for people to in our community, our students especially, to be proud to be Buffaloes. And thank everybody for coming. Teachers, Teacher Appreciation Week, thank you. The school couldn't do it. We couldn't be as great as we are without you. I mean that. I look at the people who are here tonight, and I've had interactions with each and every one of you. Things that I'm proud of that you do with kids. Things that that I want to continue to be part of at a different level. To be able to, number one, not only bring opportunities for our students, but to empower our staff to elevate what they want to do in the classroom to a higher level. I want to be able to elevate the community to bring their vision to our campus as well, so that they feel connected and part of what we're doing here. So thanks for coming. Thanks for listening to me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson.